Hey there, Blazer fans. Welcome to episode 5 of The Dragon's Den, a podcast for those that bleed green and gold. Today I've got a true legend in UAB athletics joining me, Ms. Wanda Hightower. Wanda Hightower was a women's basketball player from 1978 to 1982, and you probably remember the name. It's been hanging in Bartow Arena for many years now. Wanda was a true stud on the court. She practically holds all the records in UAB women's basketball history. If you go back in the media guide, you'll find her name many, many times. She was the first UAB athlete to ever have a jersey retired, no matter the sport. And she's just a great person all around. I really enjoyed our conversation. It was just great getting to hear her side personally, um, from her playing career and where she is now. And just a great person. It was a lot of fun talking to her, and I hope you really enjoy the episode. So, without further ado, I'll go ahead and get into it, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Thank you very much. All right, Blazer fans, I've got my next guest here, and going to do my best player intro for this my next guest. But at forward, a 5'10" senior from Hamilton High School in Memphis, Tennessee, number 10, Wanda Hightower. Wanda, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, Will. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Before I go get into some of the questions, I just want to go over some of the stats for my listeners, and it's quite an impressive stat list. I'm not going to lie. So you played from 1978 to 1982 for the Blazers. You're UAB's all-time leader in career points, scoring average, field goals made, field goals attempted, free throws made, free throws attempted, steals, single season points, scoring average in a single season field goals made, single season field goals attempted. You hold, which was one of the most impressive parts to me, going through one of the media guides, you hold all top five records for the most points scored in a single game. And on top of that, top 10 and several more UAB statistics for single game, season, and career. You're a UAB letter winner. You're a member of the UAB's inaugural class for the UAB Athletics Hall of Fame. And to top it all off, you were the first UAB athlete to ever have your number retired in any sport. So quite an impressive rap sheet there, Miss Wanda. But I'll go ahead and get into into the questions, just to get to know a little bit about more about you. But what was your life like before UAB growing up in Memphis?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Will. I was just I'm the third of four children. And we just had a normal childhood growing up, playing all the time. Back then, that's all we used to do, play, play, play. I started playing basketball just in the neighbor's backyard, and and because of my height, I've always been tall. And so my coaches encouraged me to, go ahead and try out to play basketball, which was nothing unusual because, like I said, we used to play all the time anyway. So that's pretty much what it was like growing up for me. And that's how I got into playing the game.
Okay. So, I found this really intriguing. With the timeline, coming from Memphis, UAB had never played a season when you had committed. So, what made you commit to UAB?
Okay, I'm going to tell you, Will. I probably would not have committed to UAB had Memphis State, at the time it was Memphis State, had they recruited me.
Mm-hmm.
Because, growing up in Memphis and playing basketball, I think that was pretty much I'm not going to say most girls players' dream. And that's going to play for Memphis State. I mean, they had a great team, had a great coach at the time. And so, that's what I wanted to do. But they did not recruit me for some reason. And I was a little, hurt by that because that's really what I want to do. I guess I could have gone and walked on, but and even back then, I didn't really have any idea that I was being recruited at all.
Mm-hmm.
But because during my, I knew I got letters in the mail from different schools, but I never did think about coaches actually coming to see me play. And my coach, at the time, my senior year, hid that from me. She did not tell me that they were coming to see me play. And I guess I can understand that because she didn't want me to be nervous, or didn't want me to be distracted. So I can understand that.
Okay.
But I'm gonna tell you what, I decided to go to UAB. Fran Brash at the time, she showed great interest in me. She called all the time. She was really concerned, and she was originally from Tennessee before she actually went to UAB. And I went to UAB. That was the first school that I visited. And I actually liked it because it kind of reminded me of Memphis a little bit. I liked the fact that there weren't actually dorms that we were living in, but actually on campus apartments, and I like the idea of that. And it's so funny too. I mentioned Memphis, and actually after I had signed with UAB, Fran Brash told me that when she came to see me play, that the coach from Memphis was actually there too, and they were sitting side by side. And so they were
Really?
talking about me. Yeah, so I'm telling you, they were talking about me. And so the coach from Memphis State told Fran Brash that she didn't think that I could make the transition from playing high school ball to playing college ball. So that's why she didn't recruit me. She said, I don't think I want to recruit her. No. And so I guess the rest is history. Fran said, well, I'll take her. And, that's it. That's how I committed. But, I think Coach Bartow had a lot to do with that, too. He, at the time, was coming into Memphis, recruiting players, that I knew. And so I figured if Bartow was there, and these other players were going down, that it couldn't be a bad place at all.
Okay.
And I was right. I was right.
That's a that's interesting that she was there, and it's one thing that you said your coach didn't mention it, but it's another thing that Fran, did she tell you right away that when you committed, or was it like a later on story that she mentioned that Memphis State's coach was there with her?
It was a story that she told later on. It wasn't right after I committed.
Gotcha.
But she
Okay.
told it, yeah, it was after I had, already come to UAB, and it was a story. I'm not even sure how it came about, but I used to get that question all the time, especially when we played Memphis, and we would go when we went there to play. The press would ask me, why didn't I go to Memphis to play? And I just told them the truth. She didn't recruit me, and of course they did, and I had a chip on my shoulder because of that when we did play them. Uh, and they did. They asked her, Mary Lou Johns, and she, admitted that she made her. It was a recruiting error on her part.
Mhm.
She admitted it, so
Well, I
that
mean,
made me feel better. Yeah.
it was definitely an error. I mean, your stats prove that. But so and I didn't really see much about your performances against Memphis, but
Mhm.
what was it like? I know you said you played with a chip on your shoulder, but what was it like
Yes.
playing against Memphis in those games?
Well, you know what? I felt like I had something to prove.
Hmm.
You know, we played them, I think, twice. We lost both times, but I had solid games both times. And I just felt like I wanted to win so badly. But I guess it just was not to be. They had a good team. But I just felt like I just had to go. I had something to prove. To her.
Gotcha.
Basically, yes.
Okay. You mentioned him in a minute ago, but a few years ago, you were in a video talking about Coach Gene Bartow, and you mentioned that Coach Bartow was a factor in your choosing UAB. What do you remember about Coach Bartow in that era?
Okay. Coach Bartow was a really good guy. He was well respected, around the basketball world. I mean, he had been to Memphis, and I saw him coach there, and of course, he went to UCLA. Did some great things there, and then for him to come to UAB, make the decision to come and start the program, man, I mean, that was just awesome. He was, like I said, a very nice man, and he did everything he could for us. He made us, feel welcome. And, overall, he was just a really good guy. I think he was great for the program, everything that he did to get it started. I mean, that was no easy feat for him, to start that program like he did, back then.
Hmm.
But, he was the perfect man for the job. And like I said, because of his history, having been at Memphis, and at the time, Larry Finch as well, because he came down with him. I figured it was pretty much a no-brainer. I figured it was a good place to be.
Okay. So move forward from high school. Your freshman year, you set the school record for 48 points in a single game against Alabama State, a record that still holds. So, what do you remember from that game?
It's one of those times where you just, no matter what you shoot, throw up there, it goes in. And it was one of those games for me. It was just, it was just kind of when you're on, you're on,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just the way it was in that game. I was on, and for some reason, everything that I was shooting, it felt like it was going in. So.
So, what were some other games you remember well? I know you mentioned Memphis, but were there some other games that you really remember well that people might not talk
Mhm.
about?
Well, I remember those games against Alabama and Auburn. We played them because
Hmm.
both of them were big rivals. Especially with the new program, us being a new program, and I think Alabama and Auburn was still established. Um, we played them, and and we beat them. I think they might have beat us once, but we weren't supposed to beat them. But Fran had a freshman team coming in, and at the time that was good in a
Hmm.
way because we didn't know we weren't supposed to win. I think we were all coming in from winning programs, and that's all we knew to do. We didn't know that we were supposed to lose. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You understand what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know. Yeah, so we were just out there playing, Um, so oblivious to everything else, But yeah, so I remember the Alabama and Auburn games. Yes,
Okay.
those were big rival games.
What do you remember most about your time at UAB, outside or off the court?
Off the court, well, the friendships that we formed, the bond that we had, especially with the team, my teammates, because I feel like we weren't just teammates, we were friends, and we still keep in touch, some of us, even to this day,
Okay,
you know. So, I really enjoyed my time at UAB.
that's great. Um, the Birmingham landscape has obviously changed a lot since you were in college. But
Wow.
did you and your friends or teammates have a go-to spot back then?
Well, at the time we didn't really have a go-to spot.
Mhm.
We did. I tell you what we liked to do, because one of my teammates actually had a car that had like a hatchback, and so we
Mhm.
used to go up the hill and sit up at the top of the hill by Vulcan and look out over the city.
That's
So I
awesome.
mean, yeah, that was awesome. That was a good sight. That was a good view, and just look out. So that's something that we like to do. Not really other than that, no, not really a go-to spot. We did the fraternities and sororities that were on campus did befriend us, and we kind of hang out with them and like the on-campus parties and that kind of thing when we could. But other than that, not really a go-to spot.
Okay. If you could go back and relive one game from your playing career, what would it be?
I would have to say it was a game against Tuskegee University.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was at the free throw line. We were down by one, and we probably had about 6 seconds on the clock. Well, I had two free throws. I had the chance to win it for us, but instead, I think I hit the first free throw, tied the game up, missed the second free throw. We went into overtime, and we lost. We
Mm.
lost that game. Yeah. So if I could go back and relive that game, that's the one I would. I mean, and I think the score was like we were in the hundreds at that time, 104 to 100. Yeah, it was a high scoring game. Tuskegee at that time was coached by I think his name was Tiny Lassiter. He was a legendary coach, and they were a good team. So yeah, if I could, I would like to relive that one.
Okay. That's you're the first. I think you're the first person of my guests so far that when I've asked that question, that you brought up a loss, but that's interesting. I have brought up if you could go back and change the result of one, so I guess that would count. But but to relive that would be
Yeah,
interesting. But I can see
yes,
your point. So
yes, because if I could, yeah, because I would hit that second free throw. Yes, yes.
mm. Well, I mean, you seem like you made up for it overall. I mean, your stats prove themselves, but I mean, overall, like I know that would be tough, but um, so who did you dislike playing the most? A team. Who did you dislike playing the most?
I dislike playing Alabama the most, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's because they had Sandra Murray on the team. I'm not sure. Do you know anything about Sandra Murray? She had the brothers that played. I think one of her brothers played for Alabama or something like that, maybe.
Some a Blazer fan a little older than me might know about him, but
Okay.
I'm not quite
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. But yeah, because they were older than us. But anyway, Sandra Murray was I think she was a couple of years older than me. But yeah, Sandra Murray was on that team and she would guard me and she would play some like hounding defense. Yeah, I hated to play Alabama. I really did, just because of Sandra Murray.
Okay. Would you say they were your toughest opponent you ever faced, or was that somebody else?
I don't think they were the toughest. I think again, I'd have to say Tuskegee might have been the toughest. We traveled to Tuskegee to play them. I think that was our largest. We lost by maybe 60, 70 points. I think that was the largest deficit. Yeah, we lost by a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
They they beat us badly. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
so let's get to something more positive.
Thank
uh,
you.
so, uh, so I know you dominated the record books, but was there another teammate that you trusted, to get the critical shot if it wasn't you?
I think either one of them could have stepped up and taken the shot. We all came in together and we all stayed, throughout the years together. And I think we just all trusted each other. But if I had to just pick one, I would say Janetta Johnson. She came from Midfield High School. And the
Mhm.
thing about Janetta is that she didn't even play high school basketball.
Really?
She didn't even play because they didn't have a team. They didn't have a girls' team. Yeah, but she came to UAB, and but she was just a natural athlete. So I would have to say it would be her.
Okay. Well, who was your best friend off the court? I know you said you had you and your teammates were really close and really good friends, but who's your best friend off the court, and how often do you still talk to him?
You mean like basketball wise?
I guess.
No, no, no. Oh, you mean like are you talking about somebody that's on the team or not on the team or?
Well, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, like who was your? It could have been a non teammate that was your best friend off the court, but if it was a teammate that was your best friend, who would you say it was?
I'd say me and her name was Jessica Murphy. We were real close.
Okay.
She's from Mobile, yeah,
How do
and
you,
so
do you still talk to her?
yeah, we talk like Facebook and that kind of thing. Um, yeah, Facebook has been a good way for me to keep in touch with just a lot of people.
All right, that's how I found you.
Oh yeah, that's right, that's right. So teammates, yes, yes, and we get together every now and then. Actually, Fran will actually have us bring us all together, and we'll usually meet at her house and just have fun. Not only just the players, but Letha as well. You remember? You know Letha, right?
Again,
You don't know Letha.
no, I
Okay,
don't know.
again, that's right. That's right. You're right. You're right. My bad. I'm forgetting
No,
your
you're
age.
you're okay.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yes. Yes. But yes, she'll usually get us together. We'll get together with her every now and then. As a matter of fact, I see Fran occasionally. And as a matter of fact, I saw her earlier this week, and she said, "Yeah, we got to get together." I'm like, "You are so right."
That's
I guess we're just
good.
waiting for COVID to kind of, flatten out.
Yeah, that's great that y'all still see each other on like regularly. Or you still catch up and everything. And in regards to my age, I might claim to be a UAB like historian, I guess, but like by knowing all the stats and all that kind of stuff. But individual players from way back, my dad
Hmm.
my dad
Hmm.
could probably name everybody, but
Wow.
I not so much. uh, but who would you say have been the three most influential people in your life?
I say first and foremost, it would have to be my mom.
Okay.
Yes, my mom. And then I'd have to say my coach, my high school coach, Vicky Frutel.
Okay.
And the thing about her, she was actually the very first coach that I played for in junior high. And then she was the very last coach I played for in high school. So she coached me my first year, and then she coached me my ninth grade year, and she coached me my 12th grade year. So it just seemed like it came around full circle for her to be there and coach me my senior year.
Okay.
So yeah, she was very influential. And then I had an uncle, Uncle James. He was my also one a big influence in my life.
Okay. So you mentioned Fran. You played under Fran Brash and you played under AV Bridges during your time at UAB. What were they like as coaches and personally to you?
Okay. Fran, like I said, she was more than a coach. She was really a friend. I mean, at the time, she was really, really tough to play for. Um, very, very good coach. Well respected. But it was tough. But she was a tough disciplinarian. I'll put it that way.
Gotcha.
But we enjoyed playing for her.
Hmm.
So we were definitely sad, to see her leave um, after our junior year. But Coach A.B. Bridges, stepped in, and I think she did a good job of carrying on. Even though we only played for her just 1 year. Of course, I don't see her. I haven't talked to A.B. As a matter of fact, since she left UAB, I haven't seen her.
Really?
So
Okay.
yeah, really.
Okay. Well, so the WNBA wasn't around when you graduated, but
Mhm.
do you feel that you still had more to give after you graduated, or were you ready to hang up the jersey?
I felt I did. At the time, I think it was my junior year. They did have a league,
Hmm.
but they folded right before I graduated. I was getting like letters and stuff from them, and I was looking forward to it actually. And I could have gone overseas at the time. I just didn't. Overseas just wasn't appealing to me. I didn't want to go overseas actually. But I did have the opportunity to do so. Um, but yeah, I felt like I could have, yeah, still played.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I know I could. I know I could have. Yeah.
Well, that kind of leads into my next question. Compared to the talent you played against at the time, do you feel like you would have played well in a WNBA at that time?
Oh yes, I do.
All
Yeah, I do. I
right.
really do. Yes. Yes, I think we faced some tough opponents, at the time, and yeah, I think we would have. I would have performed well
All
in the
right.
WNBA.
I like your confidence, Miss Hightower.
Thank you.
So, what did it mean to you to be the first UAB athlete to ever have their jersey retired?
Wow, that was a big honor. That was a very, very big honor. I mean, coming into, it was more than I expected, coming into a program that was just getting off the ground. Um, I guess I didn't see any of that happening. Um, I figured, I knew I could play.
Mhm.
Um, but you have these other talents coming in. They were just like me. They might have been the best of the best too, coming from where they were coming from. So you don't know what to expect. You just go in and you work hard, and you do the best you can do. And like I said, it was bigger than I expected. I didn't see this. I really didn't. I didn't foresee any of that. I just thank God, that I was healthy. I stayed healthy, except for just some ankle injuries and some back spasms. I did miss some games, but it wasn't like, I missed like a whole season or half a season or anything like that. Nothing really serious, but I didn't see it. I didn't foresee any of that.
Okay. Um, it was amazing to me to look into the media guide, and it's not often that you see a player come in at the very beginning. I mean, and UAB has, the men's team has some similarities, with the Steve Mitchells, the Oliver Robinsons, the Jerome Menzies, guys that were there early on. But it's I feel like it's rare to see a member of a very first team have records that are still unbroken. But that just shows, you know, how great you were, and the profound impact you had on this program. So Is it hard to believe for you that some of the that some of the records are still unbroken?
Yes, it is. It is still hard to believe. I mean, because all my life, you always heard that, where records are made to be broken.
Hmm.
The fact that they've been around for, they've stood this long. Yes, it's just, yeah, it kind of blows my mind a little bit.
Okay.
It really does.
So, so your Facebook still says you still live here in Birmingham, and and you know, did you have you ever moved back to Memphis, have you ever considered moving back to Memphis if you haven't?
Okay, now I've never moved back from Memphis. I'm there a lot, because I still have my family there, my mom and my other relatives and are there, and so I'm there a lot. I haven't moved back yet, but
Okay.
I do yet, but I do plan to make that move. Even I'm homesick. Well, it took this long for me to get homesick, but I am homesick now. And so, yes, I do plan to move back within the next 2 years.
Okay.
So that's my plan right now.
Well, I'm gonna have to meet up with you before you go to Memphis and
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
go to dinner or something. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to meet you. You
Yeah,
make
I
a great
know. That would be great. That would be great. But I'm kind of torn, when Memphis plays UAB, I need a shirt like that's split down the middle with UAB on one side and Memphis on the other. I tell you, I'm just torn. My allegiance is just, I don't know. Maybe for the first half I pull for one team, the other half. I mean, I feel like whoever wins, I loses wins. I can't lose.
Well,
Like
that's
I
good.
was in
That's
the
a
stand. Yeah, I was in the stand when when Memphis came to play UAB. Were you at that game?
yes, sadly, the more recent one, yes.
Yes, I know. I know. Man.
It was a it was a great game for UAB in the first half, but
Yes. Yes. Yes.
overall, I mean, it was a good game, and it was a very highly competitive game. Which is, I grew up well, I quote the old Conference USA, but when we were battling Memphis every year, and
Mm-hmm.
when we were
Mm-hmm.
during their years when they were a powerhouse in Conference USA. So it was always a great rivalry, and it's great that we have been able to play them the past couple of years, and I hope that we do get to continue with that. But I can understand from your perspective how tough that would be growing up in Memphis. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. So it was tough. It's tough. So.
um, what advice would you give to up and coming players in college?
Well, I would just tell them to make sure they work hard. Um, just give it everything they have, leave it all out there, on the floor. Because the 4 years they go by so fast. I mean they went by so fast. You can't get those years back. So just work hard, leave it all out there on the floor. Have fun while you're doing it. Because I definitely did. I had fun. I have no regrets. Yeah, I have no regrets about my experience, here at UAB. You know, I felt I made the best decision for me. Even though I know my mom did not want me to come leave. She probably didn't want me to leave home, but she never did tell me I could not go. So I don't think she expected me to stay, but she never did tell me not to go. But just have fun and just and just leave it all out there. Work
Great.
hard.
So, how is life now?
Life now is great. Life now is good. I'm retired. I retired from UAB and actually in 2012.
Okay.
I worked for UAB after I graduated, from college. Um, and so right now I'm retired and I referee. I referee. I referee volleyball and I referee basketball.
Okay.
Yes. And let's see, and then I do a lot. I volunteer a lot. I volunteer with the Salvation Army. I mean, I love that organization. So
That's great. That's
yes,
awesome.
well,
um,
thank you.
I I kind of had a mental image in my head just a second ago. It was when you were talking about how you're a referee, and
Uh-huh.
I wonder if a player ever tried to mouth off at you if you were like, "Do you know who I am?" Like, I'm Wanda Hightower.
Well, we do have some mouthy players. I,
Mhm.
I don't tell them who I am, but I might tee them up. But I try to use that as a last resort, you know.
Show them some tough
But
love.
then, yes, exactly, you know. But I tell you what, these the athletes today, you know, they have so much more than we had when, you know, when we were growing up in terms of like the programs, the AAU and all that kind of stuff, you know, the things that we didn't have, you know, and I don't think it made us you know, any less skilled because of that. You know, sometimes it's good to go back to just the basics. You know, but they have so many more opportunities than we had. I mean, they play a whole lot more. You know, actually, and sometimes I have to wonder how good it is for them because they play a full high school season, then they turn around and then they play another season during the summer. So sometimes they just don't get a break. You know what I mean? So sometimes it makes me wonder how good it is for them.
And so how can my listeners engage with you now?
Well, I'm on Facebook, as you know.
Mhm.
I'm on Facebook. So I mean, what do any suggestions?
Oh, that's pretty much it. I mean, some of my other guests,
Yeah.
Mo Finley, Ryan Keaty,
Uh-huh.
and Jess Taylor, and Lee Dufour. They were all on the new stuff like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and stuff like that. But if you're on Facebook, that's totally fine. I mean,
Yep.
if you wanted to, I mean, the next step I would assume for you it would be an Instagram account, but Twitter is a difficult animal. I'm on it, but I'm addicted to it. I guess you could say, but
For real.
I try not
You
to be. But my fiance can attest that I'm on it all the time. But
Oh, all the time. You know what? I do have a Twitter account. I do, but
you do?
I never use it. No, I never use it.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm actually following people, but I never tweet.
okay.
Yeah, you might have to help me with that because I'm not too familiar with that. But my it's so funny because my daughter was just saying, what did she tell me? Oh, I need to get on TikTok or something
Oh
like
my
that.
goodness.
I'm like, really TikTok? She said she was just telling me that. Oh, you need to get on TikTok.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but you're right. Instagram would probably be next. I could see Instagram maybe
Okay.
before TikTok. You're on TikTok as well.
No, ma'am, I am not.
Okay, okay.
My fiance and my sister are, and they tell me about it all the time. But I am not. I see all their videos. They share all these funny videos with me, but I'm just I'm stuck with the apps that I have, and I'm okay with that for the time being. I'm on my phone enough, so I don't need to be on it any more than I am.
Well, no, I think you have enough. Then no, you don't need that.
So I got a couple of questions from one of my listeners on social media. Steve Rutherford. He's actually in he's from Memphis, the Memphis area. His Twitter handle is actually Memphis Blazer, so that's kind of similar to
Ah,
you.
yes, yes.
He has a couple of questions from Twitter and from Facebook, but he said he's happy that you were my next guest, but he said he said he was curious was UAB a member of the NCAA when you started, and how were the road trips different because you weren't affiliated in a conference when you started?
Okay. No, we were not a member. I think that happened like a couple of years after
Mm-hmm.
I because the women we weren't. It happened a couple of years, I think, after I graduated. That's when they got into conferences and stuff like that. Road trips, I mean, because it was great though, because we played everybody. We played like the Ole Misses, the Mississippi State, the Clemsons, and Georgia. Actually, we played Georgia when Andy Landers was there. Uh, so we played all the big teams. So and like I said, we did go on those road trips, and we even got a chance to travel out of the country to go play. We went to Guatemala to play, actually. We played about 10 games there. We stayed over there for about almost 2 weeks. So, we went on the road trips. We got to travel and do things. So, I mean, that was no different. Just the fact that we weren't in a conference or part of the NC2A at the time.
Okay. He also is curious about. He says back then the women's team was called the Lady Blazers, and now it's just UAB women's basketball. Do you have an opinion on the change, or did you like being the Lady Blazers, or does it not really phase you?
Hey, I loved being the Lady Blazers. I mean, I think it set us apart from other people. Yeah, I loved being the Lady Blazers.
Okay.
I mean, it gave us our. I think it gave us our own identity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
And
I like that.
Steve's last question. This one's from Facebook, and we kind of alluded to it. You know how has the women's game changed since you played, in your opinion?
I think the only thing, we played with a regular size ball. We played with the same basketball that the men played with.
Mm-hmm.
Now the women play with a smaller ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they play with a smaller ball. So, um, other than that, I don't see any changes. I mean, I think that's it. You know,
Really?
um, yeah, I really don't see anything else that's different besides
Mm-hmm.
the size of the ball. Um, and I often wondered though how things would have been different for us if we had played with a smaller ball as opposed to the a regular size ball.
Probably would have
But that's the only difference.
probably would have
Mhm.
avoided a few
Oh,
shots on the rim, I guess.
oh, yeah, from maybe, yep. And the only other thing is that at the time, we didn't have the 3-point line.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't have the 3-point line. I often wonder how things would have changed too if we'd had that too. Had a 3-point line. But
Would you think you would have been a good 3-point shooter, or were you more inside?
oh no, I was in and I was both. I was
Okay.
both.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. I probably would have had more points back then.
more
Overall.
more than you already have. You're already the school record leader. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
And last question I got for you, and it's a lighthearted question. That's something I always do with. I've done with all my guests so far. Do you have a bucket list, and have you marked anything off of your bucket list so far?
You know what? I had one thing on that list. You know what? I wanted to skydive.
Mm-hmm.
I actually wanted to skydive. I haven't done it, and I still haven't ruled it out yet. I haven't ruled it out. Oh, and then something that's simple. Oh, I want a zip line. Now that I am going to do.
Okay.
I've never done it. Oh man, it just looks so fun. I want to zip line, and I will do that for sure. Not too sure about the skydiving at this point, but I will definitely zip line.
All right. So if any of my listeners have any skydiving or zip lining connections, you can direct
Yeah,
your messages to Wanda Hightower on Facebook.
yes, yes. Tell them to, hey, yeah, send me some recommendations, please.
That sounds great. Miss Hightower, thank you so much for this. This has been a blast. It's great to getting to know an all time legend at UAB, and thank you for your amazing impact you've had on the program, and just great getting to know you all around. And thank you for doing this.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and it was nice talking to you, Will.
Thank you very much. All right, I want to thank Wanda Hightower for being my fifth guest on the podcast. Being a UAB fan my entire life, it was surreal getting to talk to her almost because, growing up, I've been going to Bartow practically every year of my life. And, I've been seeing her name all these years, and just getting to finally get to speak to her and talk to her about her playing career and her personal life and everything it was a great experience for me, and something I'll treasure for a long time. And she was just a great person all around to get to know. And I really hope you guys learned a lot about her. And, as she said on in the episode, hit her up on Facebook, and, maybe we can teach her a few things about Twitter and maybe Instagram, and maybe we can get her a couple more social pages so she can be social with a few more of our UAB fans. But it was great getting to know her. And, I really enjoyed the episode a lot. And I hope you guys enjoyed it too, and I hope you're looking forward to the next episode. So, before we go, I gotta do my plugs for the social media pages. If you haven't followed them already, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you look them up, it's at Dragons Den EFEL. Once again, that's at Dragons Den EFEL. Follow the pages, participate in Q&As. I'm doing some giveaways. I did one last month, and I've got another one coming up in October, and it's a lot of fun. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the social pages so far, and I really thank you guys for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed it so far. And I've got another good name coming up next. It's going to be a former football player. So going back to the football rotation, an older football player too. Not a recent name like Lee did for us. So you'll just have to wait and see who it is, and follow my social pages to find out who it's going to be. So once again, thank you, Wanda Hightower, for being my guest. It was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So that being said, good night and go Blazers.